everybody, and welcome to another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch, the show where we make fun of movies that we haven't seen.
I'm Bradley.
Based on nothing but their weird description, I'm Albert.
You paused.
I did pause, and there's a chill in the air, Brantley, and it's definitely because you've been running your air conditioner at an unreasonably low temperature, but we're going to pretend it's because Christmas.
66 is not unreasonably
64,
low temperature.
sir?
That's what it got down to. It's not what it's running at.
Uh-huh. Wait, you have it set at 66, but it's running to 64?
It'll run it down there, and then it'll, stop cooling as much.
Oh, because it's smart. That makes sense. My AC actually does that, too. Anyway, we're going to do some Christmas stuff. Brantley, what Christmas movies do you have for us at this joyous time of year?
Well, first we have Two Front Teeth.
As in All I Want for Christmas Is mine?
Yes.
Two front teeth.
This is from 2006, so hopefully they got them. But
this is an insane song. I'm just going to circle around to the song and mention that, the fact that you can just say you want a thing for Christmas and write a song about it, even if it's stupid, we're really hurting for Christmas songs.
we're not, though. We're hurting for Halloween songs.
Yeah, we are, I guess.
Get on that. I tried to make a Halloween playlist. I have 3 covers of 4 different songs.
Tell me about this movie.
Okay. It's the night before Christmas, and Gabe Snow, a tabloid writer haunted by the ghost of Christmas past.
Oh, no. Man, I was about
curious.
to say, Two Front Teeth, maybe there's a potential for this to be, a vampire thing, or, zombies, the two front teeth are biting somebody, but not... I have less hope for that now that you've read some of this first sentence.
Okay, so he's investigating a Yuletide conspiracy.
All right.
Gabe knows that Flight 1225 was brought down one foggy Christmas Eve by a flying creature with a glowing nose.
So, okay. Well, maybe there is hope for some terrible funness.
Now, a blood-sucking vampire, Santa Claus, has put Gabe on his list and unleashed the demonic fury of the North Pole.
You let me get out on this ledge all by myself, and then you started chopping. I'm on this branch, and you've got the saw. It is a vampire thing.
An army of zombie elves who have no interest in toys or pointy hats or dentistry, which is a fun little additive there.
I guess.
Well, what's fun is it's a reference to the Rube Goldberg, or not Rube Goldberg, Rankin Bass.
Thank you. I was about to say Hanna-Barbera.
No, also wrong. The elf there, he wants to be a dentist. But also the movie's called Two Front Teeth, so dentistry.
Oh!
It's almost clever. It's not really, but it's almost.
I wasn't clever enough to see how it was almost clever, so I have to take a hit.
Anyways, they're about to turn Gabe's White Christmas blood red, which is also a Christmas color, so they're still on theme. Good for them.
I don't know if I like this... there's a side of me that enjoys the schlocky idea of our Santa's the elves are evil,
like Santa's sleigh, where Santa's actually a demon.
I haven't seen that one.
He's played by a wrestler, and he had to be good because he was defeated in a curling match by an angel, which is apparently if they make bets on any game, it's serious. So it's 1,000 years of him being good, and his time is just run out. So now he's just murdering a small town.
I guess my problem with it is that it seems like it's a symptom of our cynicism as a culture.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can be good and pure and nice. It's all... There has to be some evil underbelly somewhere. Santa's part of the swamp. Drain the North Pole.
I would like to point out just how much the person writing this was having a blast with this description. Because next, will Gabe find the true meaning of Christmas? Can he stake a heart that's 2 sizes too small? What will he find under his tree?
I like the 2 sizes too small reference. Yeah. With the stake and the
very
vampire.
Low key, or semi low key.
I was gonna say it's on the nose, but bringing in the vampire mythology to that was a neat little.
Also, that'd be hilarious if that was literal. His size, it's really small, so he keeps missing.
I could see that being fun. My question is here, what's the story? So Gabe
he's trying to take down...
He's an investigator. They have zombies and, vampires eventually, but at least some of this is a mystery.
So, so there's the mystery of the flight that was brought down by a flying creature with a glowing nose.
Right, which is obviously Santa and Rudolph and the reindeer and all that.
Yeah. So
what's the setup here? Like, so Santa exists,
that's when we're like, is he just recently a vampire?
right? Which is what happened. There was what was that? Was it Tales of Christmas or we did this one last year and I ended up seeing it, where it was an anthology film where Santa's elves turn into zombies.
Right, and it's William Shatner as a radio DJ.
He's the radio DJ.
Was that good, by the way?
It was.
Okay.
Some of the stories were kind of duddish, but it was like fun, and the effects were neat, and the way the whole story wrapped up was pretty cool. So I like that one quite a bit. But you got where it was coming from. I'm curious if like this crashing into the plane is happening because Santa's in the middle of whatever vampire transformation he's going through, or if
he's being attacked while on the thing,
right? Or
because this also, if not, it implies that the reindeer are also evil,
or that Santa's driving poorly. Like they would have avoided, like maybe they're just animals. I mean, they are.
Yeah, that's true.
They just magically fly, but in this iteration, they probably don't have that much restraint. There's probably a reindeer eating somebody at some point.
That's fun.
It is kind of fun. Yes.
All right, so that's all we have for that one.
Okay.
Next up is The Magic Christmas Tree from 1964.
I proceed with caution. I may have seen this one.
Ooh, fun. 3 boys are walking home from school on the afternoon of Halloween.
Okay.
On the way home...
I mean, Halloween's closer to Christmas than you feel like it should be.
It's
right there. I mean, it's like
not
2 months.
even 2 months away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close to 2 months, but it's not even. On the way home, one boy, Mark, agrees to help a strange old woman to get her cat, Lucifer, out of a tree. She's a Disney fan. The cat and Cinderella is named Lucifer.
No, I got that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I knew the exact one, but I knew what reference you were kind of making. I was just curious about, like, this movie probably isn't doing a reference to Cinderella. That movie hadn't come out in 1960, had it? Or had it?
It came out in the 50s.
Okay, I'm dumb. So maybe that is
They
a
kind of
reference.
all run together. You can tell by the quality, it's not the sketchy style that started in the 70s when Walt started getting sick.
Right, but then you get back to, like, Aladdin and
That's the Disney Renaissance that started with
Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid started at the very end of the 80s.
Right.
So
I thought Little Mermaid was 90s. But anyway, they work as a piece until all of a sudden animation with computers comes in and wrecks everything. And also makes it awesome, but I missed that art form.
Yep.
So Lucifer, not confirmed if they're referencing Snow White or if they're implying there's a demon.
Yep. Mark climbs the tree, but falls and is knocked unconscious. Good job,
And
Mark.
then the rest of the movie's a dream.
When Mark wakes up, he discovers that the old woman is really a witch.
And because the rest of the movie's a dream.
The witch gives Mark a magic ring and tells him that if he plants the seeds inside a magic tree will grow. There's some weird Jack and the Beanstalk vibes from this.
Yeah?
But without selling a cow, he just had to get a concussion.
His name is Jack, though.
Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Different names. On Thanksgiving, Mark performs the magic spell that the witch had taught him, so he waited for a good while before he's like, yeah, I guess I can plant these.
Well, he had Thanksgiving break. Like, maybe he has a lot of homework. He's busy in school. He just had that one night where he was, like, out doing trick-or-treating or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, back to the old homework grindstone. Got to learn calculus in 5th grade. And, now he's off for that whole week of Thanksgiving. He's, he's read the book report for Christmas. And he's like, well, I guess I'm caught up enough. Maybe I'll do an experiment for my own edification. And he plants these beans. Or seeds.
There you go. So he does a spell, and a magic evergreen tree grows overnight in the backyard.
Some of this seems familiar, but I don't... There's like a scene of the thing is, I watch a lot of movies with riff tracks on Pluto, and so I'll just turn them on, and they'll be like part of the movie playing. There's a scene where a dad is trying to mow the yard, and then like he runs into the tree, comically because it wasn't there, and he doesn't able to see. Like people do in movies where they can't see anything that's not on frame.
Yep.
We're going to pretend like I haven't seen this movie, though, apparently.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen enough of it to know a lot of these details.
Also, Christmas. So we bend the rules.
Ching, 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 ching. That's the bells, the sleigh
jingle
bells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark's father tries to cut down the tree, but to no avail. Thanks. Later, on Christmas Eve, the magic tree comes to life and grants Mark 3 wishes. It's a genie tree now.
This is
from a
so
witch.
bizarre that he's got, like, it's a magic tree. Mark doesn't do it. Like, there's no struggle here. Mark just is like, well, I've got these. I guess he did the one good deed where he helped the cat out. So that's
He
nice.
didn't, though. He fell out of the tree and conked his head. The witch was like, well, you tried to help.
Oh, he didn't even get the. I forgot. He didn't even.
He may have got the cat. I don't know. If he did, then he dropped the cat on the way down.
Maybe he cushioned the cat with his body, and the witch is like,
It technically counts.
don't sue me. Here's the magic bean. It'll grow into a tree or whatever.
Alright, so the boy first wishes for 1 hour of absolute power, which he promptly abuses, because he's a child, and yes, they would.
Yes, but not in a way that would be awesome or fun, because you know this
It's just him being
movie
a
has a
little jerk.
$5 budget.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I get lots of candy or whatever. Which also...
I will respect the only 1 hour unless the treat's like, I can only do it for an hour.
Okay. I was going to say, like, that's almost asking for more wishes, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
If you have absolute power, then, like, what's the point of using any more of your wishes? Just use your absolute power to do whatever you want. Unless it goes back after the hour. If it's reverted, it's like you can destroy the planet, I guess, but it will go back to being normal and everybody's going to know about it. So don't do that, you jerk.
Mark's second wish is to have Santa Claus all to himself. Like as a slave? Or is he just like, Santa,
Whoa, yeah.
you belong to me now.
I assumed that he was just being a huge jerk in the way that
I get
other
all the
kids
presidents.
don't get toys. Yeah, and he gets all the presidents.
Presidents.
That's what you said, man.
Look,
It's late in the day.
it's the end of the day, my tongue doesn't work, I had to go do car stuff.
Oh no, well, you can tell me about that later. But so the slave Santa is almost worse, I think. I can't tell which is worse. Either taking
if
all
he
of
gets
the
all
kids.
the president, I keep saying presidents. Jeez, all the presents. He's just a greedy jerk. But if he owns a person, that's worse.
I think.
I'm gonna go with slavery worse than greed. That's the moral stance I'm taking today.
How much greed cancels out slavery though? Like if you steal everybody's money all over the world,
Well, then you
and
devalue.
nobody has anything, is that worse than one
if
murder?
you take all the money, like the guy who does XKCD actually did this. If you take all the money, then you have devalued all that money, and we'll just do a different currency system. It's just going to break things for a while until we figure it out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is like that's something a kid wouldn't consider. It's just like I will have all the money, and then it was like, cool, you have a bunch of paper. That's in different currencies, so it doesn't work that way.
And where are you going to store this paper?
It's just his house gets crushed.
I buy a warehouse.
Just
Who
like
do you give the
all
money
of the
to buy it?
All the Scrooge money bins just appear above and just drop on him.
I want this kid's movie. I want the movie where the tree's like, okay, you have all the money. Where does it go? Just like teaching him logistics and economics.
Just now what? When Mark sees the unhappiness his selfishness causes, however, he uses his third wish to return Santa Claus
Of
to the
course.
children of the world.
The third wish is always the one that undoes all the other wishes.
On Christmas Day, Mark wakes up and realizes the entire adventure was all a dream.
I called it. Although he was he in a coma from Halloween until Christmas?
Apparently, because he wakes up on Christmas Day and he got knocked out on Halloween.
Or was getting knocked out also part of the dream?
Or was any of it a dream? And it was a moral lesson by the witch.
Yeah,
for
maybe
reasons. Because he was doing a nice thing and now she's like, moral lesson.
I'm so confused. Yeah, that's another good point. He starts out as a good person. It's not like Thor where you establish him as kind of a jerk and then he goes through a journey, at least within the context of the description. He's helping people out. He's sacrificing. He's doing good stuff.
He does he gets 3 wishes. And he abuses the first 2, which he as a child. Yes. I know most adults who would abuse a wish.
And the other thing, too.
I'm going to learn how to talk at the end of this. But yeah, no, okay, so that's all we have for that.
All right.
Next up, we have Dead of Night from 1945.
What? Really?
Yes.
From 1945, and they were doing a movie called Dead of Night. Because when you say Dead of Night, in the context of Christmas, I'm thinking of, another one of these, weird Santa's evil or something
Black
type movies.
Christmas?
Black Christmas, something like that. And then it's one of these standard schlocky type Santa's elves are evil somehow. plots. But then you say 1945, and I'm like, well, they didn't hate the world in 1945 mostly. Like, there wasn't that sort of rampant cynicism. So now I'm curious about what this is going to be.
All right. Architect Walter Craig wakes up after a terrible nightmare about a kid getting a tree, and it was weird. Which leads his wife to suggest to him that he spend a weekend in the country.
Man, I wish my wife would suggest that to me.
You're remarkably close to living in the country already.
I guess that's fair. I'm not dealing with smog and, like, overcrowding.
Yeah.
Except in my personal house, which has many people in it.
Children.
Yes, small people.
Craig has been invited by Elliot Foley to his country home in Kent to consult on some renovations.
Oh, so he's taking work with him.
Yeah, he's a workaholic. It's the stress that's causing the nightmares, but, Upon arrival at the cottage, he reveals to Foley and his assembled guest that I guess the guy just brought around to help advise on renovations.
I'm going to renovate my house. Also, let's everybody come over.
We'll have a mixer. He reveals to Foley and the assembled ghost that despite having never met any of them, he has seen them all in a recurring dream. He appears to have no prior personal knowledge of them, but he's able to predict spontaneous events in the house before they unfold.
Okay.
He has the future sight.
So is this the dream that he's been having, do you think?
He says he knows them for the recurring dream, so I'm assuming.
Okay.
Unless he has, like, recurring dreams of people he has met, and then also he can see the future on the DL.
Well, so I'm imagining, I'm going to fill in a potential blank that maybe I shouldn't fill in, but I'm going to assume that what's going on here is, like, it's not just the one nightmare. Like, he's continually having these dreams about these people he's never seen and bad things happening to him. And his wife's like, hey, take a break. And then, like, in the course of taking a break, he actually meets the people. He's like, oh no, this is not the break that I wanted.
Craig partially recalls with some dismay that something awful will later occur and becomes increasingly disturbed. Dr. Van Straten, a German accented psychologist.
I like that they've clarified, like, he's probably not actually German. This is 1945.
It's not a great accent, but it's there, and we'll acknowledge it.
Okay.
Tries to persuade Craig that his fears are unfounded.
I mean, reasonable reaction, and also because movie, probably not.
Yeah, no.
Like, the way it's gonna go. Nobody's ever...
That's always so weird in movies where it's like, we as the audience understand that this person's speaking the truth when we're talking about, like, giant murder lizards or whatever, but if somebody ran up to you and said, like, I saw a giant murder lizard, you'd be like, no, you didn't, dude. You're either screwing with me, or you're crazy, or you're on the drugs.
It's kind of like... Well, so... Craziness either happens where the person has no clue that it's happening in a movie. Or people say they're crazy, and then they, like, in the end, the person they said was crazy turns out to be correct. There's never an instance... Well, I don't say never. But it seems like you never see a movie where the person's like, I saw this thing, and everybody says, you're crazy, and then they turn out to be crazy. Because granted, that'd be a terrible story.
I think there's some, like, psychological horror things that do that.
Isn't the whole point of psychological horror that, like,
you
the
don't know if
reveal
it's
is
real?
that? I guess. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you're telling people right up front, well, you're seeing stuff that's not real. So, I guess if it's a question...
you don't know if it's real.
If it's a question, like, what's the second Psycho movie does that? You ever see Psycho 2?
Nope.
Where he's getting, like, phone calls from his mother, who has died in the first movie. Spoilers for Psycho. But...
Spoilers for the big reveal of Psycho.
Yes. Well, yeah, she's been dead all along. So there's this person calling him up saying, Norman, this is your mother. You've been doing wrong. And he's, like, freaking out about it. Because now, in Psycho 2, he's, like, been reformed. But then it turns out that it's somebody who's actually messing with him and trying to get him to crack and turn into the Psycho again. So I guess you could do it that way.
Okay. That's more gaslighting, though.
Right, but within the context of the movie, you don't know until the end.
Yeah. Anyways, the other guests attempt to test Craig's foresight and set him at ease.
I mean, that's cool. It's like, did you ever dream about the lottery? I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket, and you dream about whether I win or not.
Alright, so the other while entertaining each other with various tales of uncanny or supernatural events that they experienced or were told about.
Oh, no.
So they know about the supernatural? Most of them have, some of them have experienced it, but they're like, nah, you can't see the future, dude.
I mean... I don't want to say I don't know that I have any supernatural stories, but if you were in a group of like 20 people, somebody would be like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I was in the house by myself and I saw somebody and they were gone. Like, it freaked me out. I don't necessarily care much about ghosts. I mean, my grandma told me that she saw a UFO. Like, that was it. She didn't have like any bigger story about it. It was just like, yeah, we were just out at the church one day and there was like a weird thing flying, like a flying saucer. It floated for a little bit and then he flew away, and that's the whole story. It's like, I don't think my grandma was lying. It seems like a weird gambit to pull of like, I'm going to trick my grandchildren into believing in UFOs.
I mean, you also tell your kids that there's a needle-toothed monster living in the walls.
Not anymore.
Oh.
No, because they
now
have
that the trauma
nightmares.
is deeply ingrained.
They come into my room and try to pee on my computer. AJ does this, like, he did this with the TV as well. Like, he gets confused, like he's half sleepwalking, but he needs to get up and pee, so he's like, sort of like stumbling around, and he just like finds a spot that his brain tells him is the toilet, and he's just like, it's not, but he's still pulling down his pants and whipping it out, getting ready to go. Like last week, my wife was like, no! Do not! This is your father's office! Go to the actual bathroom! It's because of the monster in the walls.
Ah. So you did this to yourself.
Kinda. They also watched a lot of Hello Neighbor and Baldi's Basics videos, so.
Okay.
Is that it?
No.
Okay.
Anyways. So yeah, they tell you about the super adventures experience you were told about. These include a racing car driver's premonition of a fatal bus crash announced by a mysterious man who says, "Just room for one inside, sir." A ghostly encounter during a children's Christmas party, which is a tale cut from the initial U.S. release, because you can have ghosts at Christmas. Cough.
You absolutely can. That's like the most famous Christmas story ever beyond Jesus is a ghost story.
Yes. A haunted antique mirror. Ooh.
Oh, for a second I thought you said antic mirror. I was like, what kind of antics is a mirror? I realized.
Well, have you seen
can't
Oculus?
pronounce words today.
Have you seen the movie Oculus? A lighthearted tale of two obsessed golfers, because we needed some levity in this.
Obsessed?
Obsessed.
Like they're just, what are they obsessed with?
I don't know, but
How does this fit in
one of them
anything?
becomes haunted by the other's ghost.
All right.
I guess they're arguing over who has the better golf game.
And but then
Beyond
one of
the
them is a
grave.
ghost, so like you would think that would improve things. Because he has like the ectoplasm on his side or whatever now.
Or now he can't swing a club.
Or that.
One of those. And the story of an unbalanced ventriloquist who believes his amoral dummy is truly alive.
Yeah.
The framing story is then capped by a twist ending in which Craig murders one of the guests, which I had not seen coming so far, so good for you, then escapes into a feverish montage of scenes and characters from the house guest tales. At the climax, the dummy Hugo is strangling him when Craig suddenly wakes up at home from the nightmare to the sound of a phone ringing. The phone call is from Elliot Foley, inviting him to his country home to consult on some renovations. As the end credits roll, Craig is again driving up to Foley's cottage, exactly as in the film's opening.
Ah, I love this. This is the ending to a seminal story from my childhood. I'm not 800 years old, but the story was a radio drama from the 40s called The House in Cypress Canyon, which has exactly this plot. It's about this guy who is trying to buy a house. He goes to the realtor. The realtor gives him a box with this. He's like, we found this box with this story in it. And, he like the most of the radio play. Or no, I'm sorry. Somebody gives the box to the realtor about like this guy, talking about like what his name and the ordeal that he's gone through, and you get all the way to the end, and the guy's like, "Wow, that was a crazy story," and then like in walks the character from the story,
Right.
and he's like, "Hi, my name is James A. Wood. This is my wife Ellen," and the guy's like, and he says his line again from the beginning, but he's like, wait a minute, and then the movie the story ends.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great twist. No, it was all a dream thing, not as good, but I love the montage.
The recurring dream part is part of it from the beginning.
Right.
So he's having the dream
It's the
about telling
dream
people that he's had
within-
the dream.
Like it's all compact. There's also the fact that he's sort of now encountering the characters from their stories, I think is what you're saying happens.
Yeah, the montage of characters and events from them.
That sounds amazing. It might not be, because I've never even heard of this movie. So, maybe it's been forgotten for a reason, but I love the idea of this sort of just exploding dreamscape happening in the end of this movie. In 1945, no less. Do you think it's black and white?
Probably.
I want to see this now. Of all the movies we've talked about, I definitely
Color
want to
didn't.
see this.
When was Color was around, but it was very, very expensive.
Yeah, like Wizard of Oz was in the 30s. I want to say 1939,
38 or 39. Yeah. So color existed, but like that's why like the Universal monster movies are still black and white until like late 50s.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Even into the 60s, there was still quite a bit of the low budget stuff happening.
Even when coloring became commonplace, it didn't look great.
That's true. Depending on the color technology used.
Or the budget, like, because Wizard of Oz looks fine. Looks great. But then, like, you have, like, early 70s stuff where it's just kind of a blur.
Well, a lot of that is aesthetics and lighting and...
It's like, yeah, there's some color
there's still some movies that are like that. Like, why is everything brown?
Because
Did you shoot this in the Fallout New Vegas engine?
I'm so glad we're past the real is brown era of video games.
Great game! Needs a filter so that you can play it with colors.
That's called mods.
I have them. They're delightful. Is that it? Is that all of our Christmas movies for this week?
Yep.
All right. Well, that'll do it then. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you are having a great Christmas season. Curling up by the fireplace, listening to some great Christmas tunes. There will be no white Christmas for us as we live in Florida. And it has gotten chilly some of these nights, though, so that's been nice.
It's 70 degrees today, though.
Right now it is. It'll get down in the 40s probably tonight, and that's okay.
That's delightful.
It's been good. It's been good for my runs in the morning. I get a little bit chilly.
Get down to 27 like 2 weeks ago. That was awesome.
That was cold. That was a good run. I had like beanie cap on, multiple layers. Don't have any gloves, so my fingers were like numb. I exercise, Brantley.
Yeah, you do.
I'm going to put that out there. Hey, ladies. This man runs around the block in the morning.
He's also married, so no.
Yes. Also, hey, ladies, I'm married and I have 6 kids in my house. What up? We'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.
Bye, guys.